Alright, what is going on, y'all? This is episode 5. In this episode of The Corner, we're going to be talking about black representation in shows. So I hope y'all enjoy. I hope y'all smash that like button. And don't forget to subscribe. So we're going to get into it. This is K1. And this is
Mac.
I'm Anthony.
Silk.
And we are The Corner. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. So let's see. When we get into it, man, like for us, man, it was real big for us to have representation in shows. Before we even knew we really, needed representation in shows. Because as a kid, you seen a lot of different shows. It didn't matter what it was. You had, Family Matters. You had Fresh Prince. You had Martin. You also had stuff like Dawson's Creek. You also had Seven Heaven. You had different type of shows. Yeah. So I mean, it was definitely different shows, but we didn't realize how much black representation mattered as we were children. Now we're adults. Now we look back, we're like, man, we really, like it really was needed. Like even for me, man, like growing up, man, I used to love Power Rangers or whatever. And then when it started out, you had that one black character, but he put on for the city, man. Like anything he had on was black, like, and just
one of the episodes he had a Malcolm X.
Yeah, with the X on it. Yeah, I remember that.
That was dope.
So he was a big part. Yeah, so he was a big part, of just having that representation, man. And like even for superheroes, like when I was coming up as a kid, I didn't have any black representation as far as superheroes or whatever.
Well, I mean that's a movie.
That's what I'm saying. But that was further down the line. So coming up, you had Justice League stuff. You had Superman. You had Batman, and then we finally got a black Green Lantern. I was like, oh shoot, that's cool.
I'm waiting for Michael Jai to play him.
I don't know. We gonna see. Y'all know how I am about that. We gonna see. But anyways, like I said, this whole topic of the session, we just talking about representation as far as for us, black representation of shows we grew up on, shows we still carry on now, and so on and so
today,
forth.
Like, carried over.
Right.
It has.
Right. Because one time, there was an epitome of just black shows, probably from like early '90s up until about
mid 2000s.
Yeah, mid 2000s or whatever.
We had a great run there.
The block was hot, for black shows.
101, the Parkers.
Man. I'll say this, man. Shout out to UPN, man. Like,
a lot of people, definitely.
Because
you might say they were they were right there with BET with that stuff. Like they came
BET,
in.
I don't know, man. I don't think BET had nothing on UPN, and I say that because
that's what's true. Like they played movies. They didn't have really the shows until the game came out. Now the game, that was fun.
The game was clutch. I didn't get into the game until I was probably in college, but it was clutch.
I was
You never watched the game?
It was a hot mess.
That
show was a hot mess, man.
It was a mess.
It was interesting. Like I watched it.
Is it still going?
No. It's been a couple years now. It's been a couple years now.
Nah. Because pretty much after they switched up the main characters, shit just kind of dwindled out.
Yeah.
So but what we were saying, just to say all that was, that was a big era for black shows and whatnot. And then I just kind of noticed, like from that time from mid 2000s up, it kind of diminished away. But now it seems like it's starting to climb back up, which is beautiful to see. Not only in just shows, but in movies too. But I don't want to take all the spotlight right now. So anybody else want to jump in? Go ahead, do your thing.
T-Mac, you got something to say?
Well, I'm not too much of a a TV head right down there, but of course back in those times when those shows were very prominent, it's showing positive black role models. There were some good shows, even cartoons that depicted two-parent households.
Right.
And of course in today's society there's not too many two-parent households that's going on in the world right now.
Right.
But it's very refreshing when you see shows, shows like The Cosby Show.
Right. Successful family.
Successful family.
Doctors,
lawyers. Kids not really
successful, intelligent.
Exactly, and kids not really struggling as far as
life,
life, and not having clothes, not worrying where the next meal is gonna come. You know, it's one of those things where well, I think it shows real good positivity on families that are, you know, real life families that are striving to be like them, or you know, and be in some sort of likeness of the Cosby family. What's another show? You know, Fresh Prince. Even though they weren't Will's parents, but they were his legal guardians.
Yeah,
Right.
But there was still
they did everything.
After
Yeah.
all that,
They weren't effectively his parents. Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know, they still had a strong family. You know, his cousins, you know, accepted him.
Right.
You know, brought him in like, you know, like one
They
of their
were
own.
his sibling, like, you know what I'm saying? They were
Essentially,
technically.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you have a lot of shows like that. You know, like the main person comes in as a distant relative or whatever like that. And then the family ends up becoming their actual family. And even then, that's still a beautiful thing to see because some people just don't have family to go to like that and build and get that love.
That's why we make our own families.
Right.
Like,
Yeah,
exactly, you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Exactly.
Sure.
And like I said, I'm not, well, now I'm not really too much of a TV buff, so I really don't know if there are a lot of shows that are still holding to those traditions and, you know, those family-oriented fundamentals.
Right.
But, you know, I can only just reflect back to the shows that, you know, we grew up on, that I connect with too and things like that. But, you know, I really love seeing shows like that. You know, it really shows that, you know, unity is a key component to any foundation. You know,
Right. Yeah, for sure.
You want to know what's a good family-oriented show that I like?
What's that?
The Carmichael Show. I don't know if y'all know about
I can't
that
get into
show.
it. I know about it. I can't get into
I've
it.
heard about it.
It's dry to me.
Word?
To me, like I said, to me, it's dry. I mean, I tried to give it a chance just because it was a black show, but it's just kind of dry to me.
I actually sat there and watched like 7 episodes straight.
Cause ain't Loretta Devine in it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but Loretta Devine, like I love Loretta Devine. She's always been the world's auntie.
Baby.
But you know, after a while, I ain't gonna lie, I kind of got tired of her. I don't know, I just kind of got tired of her. Cause she in Carmichael's, then she in a reunion Netflix show.
That's a conversation point.
As far
Where
as
they've used like the same actor or actress to play the same part in multiple movies. Like think about like you know what I'm
What's
saying?
that lady in that Tyler Perry movie? Why Did I Get Married?
which one?
Marcus' wife.
Oh, the loudmouth.
Yeah, I forgot her name.
She got a twin sister. I can't remember her name. I'm talking
Y'all
about.
know who we're talking about.
Yeah, you know exactly what you're talking
She
about.
in ATL too, and she played the
Right.
same character.
Loudmouth, ghetto,
Right.
like you know.
It's like,
Facts.
Yeah, I mean, then just even, and then shout outs to Pops, man. I call him Pops, man. Y'all know who I'm talking about.
Y'all
Bang, bang, bang. Yeah.
Word.
I mean, everything he was in, he was everybody's
He
Pops,
made it
man.
better.
Rest in
Like,
peace.
you know what I'm saying? He helped every project he was a part of, for sure. Like,
Rest in peace, John Witherspoon, man.
Man, most definitely, man. Like, you know, when he actually passed away, I was like, dang, bro. Like, I
Yeah.
felt like I was really losing a family
Lost
member. I'm
a-
like,
lost
yo,
a uncle,
my
lost
uncle,
a-
like, what's
lost-
up?
Lost a cousin.
he
Yeah.
was Pops. He was grandpa. Like, he was like granddad type.
Granddad.
Yeah. And then you gotta even look at that too, man. How some of these actors transcend. They don't actually just do shows. They do like cartoons and stuff too.
Movies,
Because he was
voiceovers.
big in
Oh, yeah.
Boondocks. Like, if
Oh,
you
yeah.
take, like, if they
If you took
play
him
on-
out, the show kind of
Yeah.
like, you know, staggered a little
So
bit.
I'm trying to figure out how they gonna do now, because they talking about coming out with another season. How you gonna do without Pops, man?
Well,
Like,
they got his son. He sound actually.
He does.
How you
sound
gonna do
very-
without Pops?
He sounds
He
very
sounds
similar
very-
to
Man, we
John
gonna find
Witherspoon.
out.
Like,
We gonna find out. I'm
You
still be looking stale place like, nah, they ain't Pops.
I mean, but you
They
gonna
ain't
watch
Pops.
it though.
I don't know. The
Yeah,
last season,
yeah. No,
last
you'll
season
watch
was.
it.
No, you gonna watch it. Like, it's
Last
Boondocks,
season,
bro. Did you watch it though?
You'll watch it.
You watched
Hey,
it though, right?
hey, the artist ain't in it no more, so I'm kind of trying to get out of it now.
Oh, so you trying to get out? Okay.
Yeah, Aaron McGruber. After
gonna
he
say-
got out, like
so
I
you
just
gonna-
it don't feel the same no more. It ain't his stuff no
Wow.
more. It ain't his stuff no
You
more.
gotta follow his legacy. So
It's
all right,
not his legacy.
all right,
Legacy
all right,
no more.
so-
He's not writing it.
So Black Panther changed. You're not gonna watch Black Panther no more.
I'm gonna watch it because it's gonna follow comic books, but that's a whole other discussion.
That's
That's a
that's
whole other discussion.
but it's relevant to this particular conversation. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta keep the legacy alive and watch anyway. You know what I'm saying?
But I
Like,
mean, that's the thing though. So I don't want to get into Black Panther, but I'm just gonna say this: if you get somebody else to play Chadwick's role, I can't.
it's not gonna happen. That's not
I can't
happening.
do it.
They've already.
I mean, yeah, I know it's
they've
not gonna
already
happen, but if they
agreed,
decide
it's
to
in
do
writing
it,
that
I
they've
wouldn't do
changed
it.
Yeah,
I wouldn't do it.
No, I would not. Like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't. I wouldn't view it with the same enthusiasm. But again, we branching off into a different
right.
thing. But like as far as like black television for me as a child, like we already talked about the Cosby Show. To me, that was one of my favorites. Like as far as seeing a black family on television, that I didn't see anything about like exactly like a successful family. Like I didn't see anything about that family that I didn't like. You know what I'm saying? Their chemistry together, the way they all live, like all of them living up in that house, you know, together, getting like, you know, they have their arguments and everything, but that's family. But they got along and everybody was successful. Like, you know what I'm saying? Oh, you slipping on grades, and then all of a sudden, boom, we got straight A's on the report card. You know, everybody was on point. You know what I'm saying? And
Cliff wasn't cheating. He went on drugs.
Right. He was clean. He,
yeah.
You know, aside from the huggy buggy chicken, but you know, like, we gonna step away from that discussion. But you know what I'm saying? Like he was. I mean.
Oh God.
But like you know, that was the introduction to black television for me as a child, and I clung to it. You know what I'm saying? That was my first taste. So that's the standard that I held. You know, everything else to. And like as far as I guess we were talking about Jamie Foxx show. That was I liked that show. You know what I'm saying? Like the roles that everybody played, like they were, you know, solid. You know, there was no questionable, like, you know, I don't exactly understand how to describe that, but it was a great show. You know what I'm saying? And it was a great representation of us.
Yeah.
Along with like, well, I mean, I guess the Wayans brothers, there was more comedy, you know, involved, but it was still good, you know, positive vibe, a very good representation of, you know, the trouble they got into was like small time. You know, it wasn't like they were doing anything crazy as far as like today what we've been represented as like as a whole, like you know what I'm saying? Like it's nothing day and night difference.
Right. I got the Jeffersons. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. So you ever got into the Jeffersons?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, moving on up.
Yeah. Jefferson's good times. I got into all that stuff, man. Like I said, I told you I grew up old, man, so I got into all that stuff, you know.
So I had a question, and any of y'all can hop in. So when exactly did you guys notice, you know, our roles, you know, kind of
changing?
Yeah, changing and degrading and kind
fall
of
of UPN.
Falling, you know, degrading.
The fall of UPN.
Yeah.
Like when it started declining, started bringing other shows in, and then our representation started diminishing. To me,
it's been kind of like until recently going down the last 10 years. I would say.
Yeah.
Like I've noticed where we legitimately just have that one token character, that one character that's stereotypically correct to, you know, the way society basically views everything and stuff like that. Over the last 10 years, I've noticed a drop off of this, except for Blackish. Blackish is one of the only shows that I've seen actually try to like keep.
They stood out.
Exactly. Keep the culture alive. But aside from shows like that, the prominent population has always been like a very stereotypically correct, like, you know, the way society views us. And except for here recently, like I said, there's been shows and different things that have come out that I've watched, and we're represented more powerfully and more positively. But that's just lately, and everybody knows why lately. You know what I'm saying? You know, I can't breathe. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, all that. Like, you know, that's why we're getting the power right now. But
Gotcha.
Because I mean, you know, when UPN, man, when CW pretty much pushed them out or whatnot, you start getting a lot of flux of just, I don't want to call them white shows, but that's pretty much what they really were. And, you know, and then even when DC started taking a liking to CW and started throwing their shows in, you know, a bunch of superhero shows or whatever, you really still didn't see representation of us until Black Lightning dropped. And then, of course, you know, as black people, we were like, yeah, we want to go out and support Black Lightning and blah, 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 but then it didn't get good ratings, and then they end up trying to cancel it at some point. I think it is, I'm not sure. I think it is canceled right now, but, you know, that it just, we got a flux of different things that happen, but like you said, we're starting to slowly climb back up just because of the climate of what's going on now.
Right now.
Yeah.
I think we're really, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just adding what you're saying, go ahead.
Okay, I think what really gave us a significant boost Luke Cage dropped.
Luke
Yeah,
Cage was
that was
good. It's
that was
heavily slept on. That was a
Yeah.
good show.
Yeah, I think that really gave us.
Not gonna lie, I slept on that one myself, but
You
like,
said, oh man, y'all gotta
I
watch
got
it.
a couple episodes
You
in,
gotta
I see what you're talking about. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Watch like 3.
Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Watch
a
some more.
Disgusting.
couple episodes.
Wow.
A couple episodes from each season. Like, it's pretty. It's like it's a good show. Like, you know what
yeah, I
I'm
liked it. I
saying?
liked
Same.
the
Like,
3
if
episodes.
I'm watching TV, it's the same
The
stuff
3
that I'm
episodes
generally
was
been
fire.
watching. You know?
Come on, bro.
Mhm.
6 days a week. Come on. Come on.
Now,
Before
I mean,
then, I
no,
was still.
before that, he was a slave.
It's been. That's another story.
Lord.
Before that, he was a slave, boy.
Yeah.
Hey, so you want to work this overtime? Come on, buddy. Come on.
Yeah. Y'all stupid. But yeah, that
It's
really
all
gave
gonna
us.
pay off, you know.
Oh, of course.
For sure.
But yeah, Luke Cage, I would say that really gave us a significant boost because I mean, I ain't gonna lie, I've watched it. When I first watched it, it made me feel bulletproof for a second.
Man.
You know, like
Cause you remember that episode where he put hood on and stuff? I was like,
yeah,
yo.
Yeah.
mhm,
He went off in that one.
yeah.
So they still making
But-
that show, or they done?
They're
Nah, they
done with it right now.
kind of cut it. They
Yeah.
really kind of cut it along with everything else. But for some reason, Jessica Jones got another season,
Yeah.
and I think they're bringing another season for Iron Fist.
That's
I
appropriate.
think they canceled. Exactly.
Like, you know, just
I think they
ended
canceled.
off Luke Cage.
They just ended it off, and then it didn't end off in a way that like, oh, nothing else is gonna happen. It ended off like, yo, some
What
stuff
else is
might
gonna
go
happen?
down for
Yeah.
the next season because they only did 2 seasons.
Yeah.
right.
It was gonna
I
go
know
into
that.
the 3rd
Yeah,
season.
I watched 2 or 3 from the first one, and a couple like from the middle of the second one. They were good. Like,
Yeah,
they
it
were
was
good
good.
episodes.
Yeah. But you know, just stuff like that. Like as a kid, like I would love to be a kid now, seeing something like Luke Cage or Black Panther. I'm like, yo, like we really can be that powerful. Like,
Right.
it's
Yeah.
just,
Like,
it's just it's a
representation
humbling
of-
thing. Yeah.
And it is attainable. That's the thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's
Very
not
much
like
so.
you born into a certain place and you got to stick there. Like, it's your choice to
Mhm.
be what you want to be.
Right.
I think it kind of, I'm gonna say, I think it kind of reminds us that, like I said with the, with Luke Cage and Black Panther, it kind of shows us that, we didn't necessarily start off, powerless or anything like that because I mean we've, historically, it proves that we've
People
come
know
from
we're not
royalty.
weak. Like, you
Yeah,
know what I'm
exactly.
saying?
Yeah, we're not
We're
like
We're not
Certain.
weak. At one point, we were a little
Yeah.
undereducated, but never submissive or
Yeah.
I don't even
just
think, I don't even
subhuman,
think we were undereducated because the thing about it is we had our own language, and then coming here we lost that.
I'm
language.
talking about since we've been here. You
Oh,
know what I'm saying? As
oh,
far as,
gotcha,
like,
gotcha.
you know,
Yeah.
we were held
Yeah.
down for a bit, but now these days, like, we are both educated and fully well physically capable of doing whatever needs to go down. You know
Well,
what
what
I'm
are we
saying?
saying? We are not our ancestors.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Try Jesus.
Jesus. Lord.
Oh man. Yo.
And that's a good thing because, like, lately you're seeing more of that in
Yeah.
shows. More powerful, black characters and more powerful,
Yeah.
like, capable or contributing, characters.
Yeah.
Because it seemed like for a while, it's a good decade where it was just the one token. And
Yeah. That was it.
and that was it. And generally they weren't, there were some shows where, I don't like using that term token, but like, you know what I'm saying? There were some shows where they were a legitimate, contributor to the storyline or whatever. But,
Yeah.
but for the most part, not so much. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they might get a off the cuff like slight joke, and it might be racial because they're black. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
and but yeah, we've been getting better lately, and I feel happy that we're making that strive. As far as where society is today, I think a lot of the division that we see in society and TV and everything like that is purposeful. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like there's people out there that only want a certain spectrum of things visible to the broad public. I think there's, people who only want you to see a certain thing so that way that's how you see them.
Mhm.
And that way when you see them or encounter them in public or in real life, it's like, oh wow, so if he's like that, then you have to approach the situation a certain way. No, like I feel like, recently, we've gotten away from that. Like we're getting, more progressive and more, understanding. Like we just need to communicate. Like what I'm saying, be together. Like get more of a mix going instead of like this is how y'all are, this is how y'all are. We're gonna stay over here on each side. Like you know what I'm saying. Like, what show have you seen had a heavily diverse cast lately?
Diverse in what regards?
Umbrella
Television, like,
Umbrella Academy.
I mean, I guess, but the majority of that cast is still.
I mean, but you had a black, you had a Mexican, you had Asian, and then you had the 2 white boys.
Overall in the show.
Oh yeah, overall in the show, yeah, they were vastly outnumbered across the show. But I mean,
until season 2. Season 2, they had we went back to the 60s.
Yeah, but we went back to the 60s.
And we had to go there and they focused on it, which it was a great part of the show, though. You know what I'm saying? That's why I was speaking on recently. We're becoming more progressive like that. And again, I feel like that's only because of what's going on. But at least it's progress. It's a step in the right direction.
But you know what? To be honest, I can't really name something now that's really heavily diverse.
Exactly.
As far as a show, I can't put my finger on that one.
Get to work, Hollywood. Atlanta, Georgia, we do a lot out here. Let's go.
We do a lot.
We do a lot.
I didn't realize how much so till recently. I mean, a
big portion, major portion.
Like Atlanta is literally the new Hollywood, man.
East Side Hollywood. That's what we are.
So much down here now. Well,
I really appreciate that too.
I mean, it's helped our economy.
Yeah.
It's given.
Man, let's not talk about how Black Panther boosted the economy, bro.
Oh man, yo. That was a whole occasion. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like
everybody
dressed to the T, like showed up for that. Like
it was over.
It was a Met Gala.
Didn't care how we looked to nobody. Like we confident, we powerful. Wakanda forever. What's up? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, it didn't phase me a millimeter, bro. Like I was good.
Yeah, everybody was together, man. Everybody was moving in one accord. That was dope.
I wish we had a show like that to move behind. You know what I'm saying?
A show like, well, I think they're coming out with the What If, and Chadwick, he filmed a lot of his recordings already, and it's gonna be animated. So that'll be nice to see when the final drops.
Might be interesting. Yeah. I like that.
Shoot, even recently, this is coming away from that, but even recently, man, I was watching this show with my son on Netflix. It was a Jurassic Park, series or whatever. And guess what? The main character was a black kid. I was surprised.
Oh, right.
Yeah, main character was a black kid or whatever.
This is what now? Where?
It's on Netflix. It's Jurassic Park Cretaceous or something like that.
Yeah, it's a show.
And it's actually pretty good. And you know how when you watch the original Jurassic Park movie, somebody get ate up, you see what's going on. And this one, people get ate up, you don't necessarily see it. Just because it's a cartoon, you don't necessarily see it, but you know what's going on. You know they get messed up.
You got messed up.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I had a debate with somebody about, like, if this show was, like, out back in the day, who would take it? They was like, man, I don't think anybody would really take it just because people actually died in the show. I was like, I don't know, man. I think Cartoon Network could have took that. But
Cartoon Network, Nick, somebody somebody would pick that up.
Yeah,
like late night, it came on at like 8:30, 9 o'clock. But
right.
The show.
But I mean, like I said,
we
it's
get
actually,
Goosebumps. You Afraid of the Dark? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we could.
I still got nightmares from lighting them.
No, bro, that was my show. Those were my shows back.
I loved it. No, I
lived for the night.
I loved it
too, man.
I loved it, but shit,
especially when October rolled around.
Yes,
man.
bro. Oh man. Got the candle holding up at night. Like,
yes,
like, I was ready, bro. Super ready.
What you got a candle holding up at night?
No, like that's what Nick at Night was.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? They had the candle holding up, the hoodie thing and everything. Like,
it
was
fire. Man, I used to watch Tales of the Crypt Keeper.
Yes. Every night.
Yeah,
like, you know what I'm saying?
Stuff,
that was
man.
one of my shows.
Yo, but shoot, got lost up.
We was kind of talking. We was kind of addressing when we thought.
So what's
go ahead. Sorry.
So what's going on, y'all? We back into it. Unfortunately, we had a cast member that had to leave out for unfortunate reasons, but we are back and we're just gonna finish up for you guys. And like I said, If you have any comments, any suggestions as far as topics, let us know, man. And really, we are actually looking for new members to come in and guest star and speak with us, whatever. Because I feel like at some point you're gonna get tired of all three of us. I feel like we have a good conversation, but maybe you're gonna want to see some new faces every once in a while. So far we've had
different points of view.
right, different points of views. So I mean, so far we've had 2 guests, but we're definitely open to having more cast members, different faces, and things of that nature. We're really working on having a debate between woman versus man as far as just discussions about relationships and things of that nature. But
That'll be fun.
it'll
That'll
be very fun.
sexist. That'll be
Very fun. And then you know what? We're gonna probably be filming at this guy's new place, so if we can
Change
get that
the scenery,
started out,
maybe.
change scenery a little bit. Y'all might get tired of seeing my man cave, every once in a while. So we're definitely trying to get that in the works.
Just
But
give me some time to get everything set up, man, and we'll definitely be in different venues.
word.
Recording, but just give me some time.
But we're back into it, man. We're talking about black representation in shows. I know before we left off, we were talking about a couple of animation shows as well that were pretty big as far as for us and the culture and things of that nature. Like when we were coming up, Proud Family was pretty big.
Yeah,
like
That was
people don't.
iconic.
Yeah, people don't give it the respect it really deserves, man. Like, because all these other cartoons we had were just different other faces that weren't us.
Right.
Proud Family, boom, put it in your face. Like, this is
Heavy
a whole
representation.
entire black family.
Mhm.
Parents married, bunch of kids, different situations in school.
Multiple generations in the
Yeah.
household. Like
Multiple,
it was a
multiple.
full family
Multiple.
in the household. Yeah.
And some people don't know, like for some people that's how we really kind of came up with, not only having your parents but having your great grandparents and stuff in the house. All that.
Uncles, nieces,
Yeah.
cousins. Like,
Everybody
you know what I'm
in
saying?
there.
Like,
Everybody in the crib.
sometimes it's a little bit of everybody in there.
Right. So I mean, it was just very instrumental, man. And a funny side note for some people that maybe didn't know when they watched Proud Family. So the Grove sisters, they were ashy. I didn't know that as a kid. I just thought they was blue. But come to find out, they were just severely ashy.
I don't know.
Yeah, so
I don't know, man. That it just that's ashiness. That looks
that
like
was
a
supposed to be
rare.
ashy.
That's rough.
That was a
rough.
rare skin disease.
Like, I know how it was, man. Like, I'm gonna say,
You get out the pool,
man, over with.
it's over with. Like,
Over with.
and I guess apparently they just couldn't really afford Lubriderm.
Man,
You know what I'm
maybe-
saying? Like, so,
Maybe they had a condition. I don't know, man.
That's a skin condition. That's something
At that
totally
point,
wrong with
the dryness is at a medical, medically concerning level. Like,
To be that dry, to be so ashy that you turn blue. Like,
I mean,
word,
but you
that's
gotta
what
look-
we going for?
Hey, but if you looked at him,
Yeah,
like,
Ashley Larry.
you could tell.
Ashley Larry.
Ashley Larry was. I mean,
that's
that's an accurate depiction of what Ashley Larry might look like. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
But he wasn't
And it-
blue.
But he was ashy. You know what
Fine.
I'm saying?
Well, I
Like,
mean, but how would you
you
depict
could
that in
present a
cartoon
gray
form?
person in Proud Family. They had to give them some sort of color. You know what I'm saying? And at the same, again, look at their mouth. Like, you could tell the lips was chapped. You know what I'm saying? Like, the lips was hanging out way out there. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's
I'm just
chapped
saying,
lips,
man,
chafed skin, ashiness. Anyway, that is complete branch
Yeah,
off
that's
the
random,
conversation.
that's a severe ailment that they had on their skin. That,
Well,
Man,
we
for them to be
appreciate
that
your
ashy.
concern for their medical,
I mean,
well,
I'm no medical doctor. I never went to school. for
dermatologist,
that. Okay, don't take the high road now.
Oh man, but I mean, like I said, man, it's just needed because you got these kids coming up, whatever they see in these shows and movies, they're not seeing a representation of themselves. They're just going by whatever they're seeing, and man, I hate to say this, but it kind of takes a psychological effect on you because you feel like this right here is better because this is what you're seeing.
Yeah,
And then
this is what
versus-
made it to Hollywood. This is what you
Right.
see in the movies, TV, and all that stuff.
Right.
So this it's almost like an inspiration or motivation to be a certain way. And
Right.
that's what you see on TV and in movies is not necessarily what we are. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like
right.
there's more to us than what small roles and positions really on a grand scale anyway that you see on TV and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
'Cause people don't get it, man. I mean, representation is key because, not trying to knock off any other shows that are non-black or whatever, but at the end of the day, whatever, we need that representation because, if we don't see it, we don't believe it, if that makes sense.
right,
And with that being said, to see it and see it depicted and things of that nation, like, oh, I can identify with that. That's something for us. Other races have their shows where they can identify and things of that nature, whatever. And for us to get the ones we had was, it was great for us to see because, the black successful family wasn't necessarily the
popular opinion on
right.
what black people were.
Right,
You know
right.
what I'm saying?
That wasn't
Like,
popular opinion. The popular opinion was a drug dealer or, a
thug,
killer, a thug,
hood,
or whatever.
you know what I'm saying?
You know.
Which don't get me wrong. I mean, fair enough. There is that portion of us, but that's not what we all are. You know what I'm saying? There's different walks of life. The same way there's different walks of life across every other fence that there might be. Out there. You know what I'm saying? Like, but there's more than just that, and we're saying that seems to be the prominent stereotype that Hollywood or whoever goes with to represent in the media. And that's not what all of us are by a long shot. Actually, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and like, again, that's not to be condescending or anything. It's just differences between individuals. You know what I'm saying? Like that may be something that somebody else does or is into or affiliates with or whatever. But on the other side of the fence, there's us who don't affiliate with things, like that, have a different walk of life, have a different point of view, have a different, way of carrying yourself, speaking, learning, doing things. You know what I'm saying? Like, and again, like, I feel like we spoke on, there was a gap where a lot of it fell off, and there was the tokens and not well representing, what we really were. And then recently, there's been a spurt, I guess, a spike in activity for us. Like our culture has been, shouted out and, I guess more a swell of content for us being viewed as a positive community and everything, united and whatnot. And, that's good to see. Like, I really wish that it didn't take people being killed and riots and protests and all that to get, the attention that the rest of us needed, not just the people who were making news for killing somebody or robbing somebody or dying or something like that. Like, I feel like there's more to our race than what's been broadly broadcasted, to the people. Like, there are intelligent minds, there are, analytical thinkers, there are progressive people, there are, everything that there is anywhere else that you could think to look is also right here. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got it all too. Yeah. Like, I'm not trying to say one race is better than another. I'm saying, like, we all have negative and positive aspects about us. And for the most part, it seemed like for a while the negative part was being broadcasted about us, and lately the positive part has been broadcasted about us because, again, of the society and what's going on right now. But that's what I have to say about that.
Sad thing, man. It really shouldn't have to be like that. It shouldn't have to be for a worldwide crisis and things of that nature for us to be seen because at the end of the day, we're here. We're not going anywhere.
Right.
So with that being said or whatever, it's just like, how much do we have to cry out? How much do we have to beg and plead to be seen?
Right.
And, it's just, like I said, I say I'm glad that we grew up on certain things that we did because if we were to come up in this time, we wouldn't realize what it is. We would just think, hey, this is the norm. This is what's acceptable.
What
things
like
that. Yeah. So I'm very proud of what we grew up on, and not even things that were just, here when we were born, things before that, like Jefferson's Good Times and all that. We weren't alive for none of that, but we carried those shows and we learned from them and we grew from them and things of that nature. So it's just a constant walk we're gonna have to do because at the end of the day, we can cry out and talk about how much we need to be represented, need to be seen, and someone else can jump in and be like, oh, y'all seen enough and things of that nature, whatever. And it's just like, but what is enough for us? Because it's like we're at the back of the starting line. Things have been pushing forward, and when we be in the back of the starting line.
Yeah, y'all got a head start. Everybody else got a head start. Like,
Right,
what I'm saying? We were
right.
stifled and held back for decades.
For decades.
And then I feel like we've taken a great leap as far as like how long we were held back and suppressed to, today.
Right.
Like if you look back from, I guess, Martin Luther King, era to here, we're basically on the cusp of what Martin Luther King was speaking about, preaching about, and fighting for. But the rest of the world and the rest of everybody else needs to get on board. Like, people need to communicate and get to know someone personally rather than seeing them on a screen or scrolling past them or seeing, just random snippets of people. Like, people need to get together and actually communicate as a community togetherness, because like if you're literally this close to each other and what you've seen on TV about this person, this is what you take as fact. What you've seen on TV about this person, this is what you take as fact. And that's not what you actually are.
Right.
Like, there's no learning. There's no real communication because you're trained to see and feel and think what you've been brainwashed into really, thinking about that next person without actually having any real contact with them. No one's ever going to progress. There's nothing ever going to change. There's not, because if what you see on the news channel every day is diversity and adversity and conflict and turmoil and all that, young minds growing up today are seeing that, and that's what they have to grow on. You know what I'm saying? Like, there will never be any progression if there's continuous conflict between peoples. You know what I'm saying? Like, and like, I'm never going to preach that any person, race, ethnicity, whatever, is better than the next. I feel like we all are here. We are all the same species, on this ladder that we're in. You know what I'm saying? And we have the ability that no other species has to communicate and learn and progress. And it takes millions of years for any other animal in the animal kingdom to evolve and adapt and do things, to adjust to their environments. It takes us. That happened. We learned it. Move on. What can we do different now? And it's literally within an instant that we have the capacity to do something like that. But we are completely blind to that. Like, I don't understand how it is that, like, like, we can sit here and, like, this, I see this on TV and I see that real person. That real person doesn't necessarily look like what I see on TV, but because this is what I see on TV, this has to be what that person's like. You know what I'm saying? Like, a terrible representation. Like, and it's just, like I said, lately there's been a swell of unity and, a swell of content for us to be represented as more of a positive community, because we are more of a positive community. I feel like everyone, like, people even that you went to school with, they're all getting their own businesses, they're all getting their own hustles, they're all climbing the ladder, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're all going places. And if we can all find a way to get together and, help each other out, you know what I'm saying? Instead of sitting here like, okay, you're this, then you got to stay over there. You're that, you got to stay over there. And that's perpetuating, the turmoil that we have going on today.
Right.
And that's how I feel. That's it. Like, that's my, my recap for the situation.
Everything,
I don't think I really have any closing remarks. You know, and not, I guess not necessarily topping over what Anthony was saying, but you know, just we, you know, um, and like I mentioned, I'm not really a huge TV buff now, but you know, I do like to stream a lot. You know, I do like to watch Netflix and Hulu and things like that. But I would think, you know, kind of going forward, um, there could be a lot. There could be a lot more shows that's going into that direction of where, you know, where it represents us well. You know, and especially when it comes to solidarity, um, things like group economics, and you know, really how it is to be a neighbor, you know,
Right.
in different communities, you know, within your community, you
Right.
know, um, and it just kind of goes back to solidarity, you know, showing how everybody is, you know, one with their environment, and
Right.
you know, really shows that they give a damn, you know, about their environment.
Right.
I believe if there are more shows that could be like that, that can really, you know, be depicted like that, and add to, you know, us being on the, you know, being on that screen and being in front of everybody. Um, I think uh, I think that could be a really good thing, you know, just a good representation, and also to kind of let people that's, you know, not within our race know that, hey, you know, we're not all just me, and I, and you know, and us trying to
A certain type
of,
yeah.
you know, whether it's drug dealing or killing and stealing
gang
or
member crime,
members,
you
or
know,
even
yeah.
even trying to keep up with the Joneses, you
right.
know,
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
because it's never, you know, because it's not everybody, that does that.
Right.
You know, there's you know, great neighborhood, solid communities that are really about, you know, loving one another, um, looking out for one another, and you
Right.
know, and really just showing how it is to, you know, to be together and, you know, pull resources
Right.
together to get things accomplished. And I think that's really what's a lot. I really think that's what's missing a lot in different shows and representations, because I do believe that, you know, if you, you know, you put something on screen, somebody looks at it, or a mass majority of people looks at it, they, you know, that's what they think their
Form an
reality
opinion
is.
based off of that.
Yeah, because perception is a lot of people's reality.
Right.
You know,
Facts.
um,
Without real experience with that.
exactly.
Yeah.
So if we kind of shift the narrative, you know, of us not always being represented as thieves and killers and game bangers and things like that,
Right.
maybe other people's perceptions would change.
Yeah. Facts.
Because, you know, I do believe that perception is a lot of people's reality, and that's a lot
Especially
of
these
people,
days.
yeah, especially these
Yeah.
days, a lot of people base their perception on their, you know, their reality on perception.
Right.
You know, if you know, the famous people with, you know, in positions financially can make these changes and things like that, I think we would be on the right track
We could
of
be on a progressive,
yeah.
you know, sort of
Mm-hmm.
way of movement. For
Yep.
sure.
Because if we see it on the screen, and like I said, if perception is reality, surely we can implement what we see on, you know, on these streaming platforms, or just cable TV.
Right.
We can implement those in our life, because, you know, hey, I just seen that on the TV and it seems real to me. Maybe
That worked out.
yeah,
You know what
that,
I'm
and it
saying?
worked out
Yeah.
for them. Maybe, I don't know, give it a shot.
Mhm.
You know, so those are my closing remarks. Uh, Perception is a lot of people's reality. If we kind of change and do a course correction
Everyone's
of
perception.
everybody's perception and what, you
Right.
know, and how we're represented, I think we'll be on the right foot.
Right. For sure. That's it.
Nah, so at the end of the day, man, you know, this whole episode was just pretty much just based on our representation in shows. And with that being said, or whatever, we are really starting to see a rise as far as our representation in shows. I mean, not even just this year alone, but even before
In the last
then.
couple of years.
Yeah, for the last couple of years or whatever. So none of this is a shot at any of the shows that are non-black. It's none at all
No.
because we watched them. I mean, I watched Friends. I
All of
watched Dawson.
everything.
Yep.
Seinfeld, Drake
Saved
and
by the
Josh.
Bell. Like
All the whole Nick
like,
lineup.
yeah,
Like, you know what I'm saying?
right,
Like some
right.
of the
So,
Disney lineup.
Yeah.
that, I mean, so at the end of the day, we're definitely not biased on that, narrative as far as, the shows we watch. We just, I've never had that mindset where it's just like, oh, no, I'm just trying straight black, lickety black, all black.
Right.
Like, it's just like I watch anything that is of interest to me.
Be entertaining. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? That's the point of watching TV is to be
Right,
entertaining. You know what I'm saying?
right. But I will say, as far as black culture, we play a big
A
role.
much bigger role in society than
Yeah.
what the media has to show.
It's
You know what I'm saying? Like
for everything.
even
Because
some of go ahead.
no. Go ahead, man. Finish
Even
up.
like some of the some of the shows that show a successful black family, they're still, I don't know, there's a certain way about them.
Something for the knee.
You know what I'm saying? Like that is like they're successful, but they carry themselves not quite the same way as where like you could take the same format of this show and bring it to another ethnicity and it's a they there's just a difference there. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want to like call out by any like specific names, but like there's been some ethnic Disney shows, not animated, that were, representation for us to a certain extent. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, well, I've still got to, scrape these pennies together, cut corners to, be, successful and get what I need to get done. Whereas, like, you go somewhere else on another show, it's like, that's not a problem. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like we're just taking care of business as usual. Like, just going through life without a hiccup. And like the problems that are happening are more of household or like some individual within the family is, they messed up or, had an accident or some other thing that they're trying to like, cover up from another family member or something like that. And then on the other side, it's just like, we got to do this so we can keep the business running. Like, come on now, like that's not how everything goes on, on this side of the fence. But
Yeah.
that's just how like I said, I've recently been observing a lot of different, we were ill represented for the better part of a decade,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Okay.
And then here recently, I guess, thanks to all of the publicity of the turmoil and protests and public issues that we've had going on, there's been a swell of African American cultural content that, kind of like shows a broader spectrum of stuff like that, which I'm thankful for. Like, and I don't want to seem like I'm unappreciative of that, but at the same time, it shouldn't have taken all this.
At all.
Like it really should. It shouldn't take people burning down city blocks and vandalizing police cars and going like just craziness. It should not have taken any of that to get to have some sort of spotlight to show that there's more to us than what is broadly broadcasted, I guess, on television and the media. Like,
Yeah.
it's saddening, kind of, sort of, but, again, but, like, lately it's been progressive, so, I can't complain about that. But that's how I feel.
Gotcha. That was interesting. Real good.
And I think we're probably coming to a close now. I will say this. Representation for us has not only played a part in our lives, but it's played a part in a lot of other people's lives as well. Black culture doesn't just touch black people; it touches
Right.
all cultures as well. Because anything we do, anything we create, I mean, it leaves an imprint. And I'll say this. Black representation is strong, no matter what anyone tries to say, no matter what they try to pull from it. It's a strong source, and it's a prevalent source. And I just hope it continues. I just hope this build up just doesn't end here. I hope that all this injustices and whatnot that's going on is not what's going to be the only driver. Like I understand, there's, plenty of other, ethnicities and things out there in their nature or whatnot. And I definitely like to see those as well, which I'm starting to see, now. But, let's just not distract from the fact that, hey, right now, sometimes that representation isn't as prevalent as it needs to be.
Right.
So, I'm enjoying to see it constantly grow. Like for me, man, I got a 2-year-old son. He's not gonna retain a lot, but what he does see, I am grateful for. Like he loves watching, just anything, as far as action, anime, whatever. He loves watching all that. But I'm grateful for how we've grown throughout the years and have gotten this representation. And we can say this is us and this is what we see and things of that nature, because it's small stuff as far as like a little girl could go to a store or whatever, and a mother might ask, hey, which doll do you want? You want this one, or you want the black one, or you want the white one? Now if that daughter chooses the black one, it's like, oh, that's interesting. Why did you choose that one? You know what? Because I think she's pretty. And not taken away from the other doll that might be white or whatever, but she just feels, hey, this is what I feel is pretty, and this is what I represent. This is what represents me. And I feel like a lot of kids, a lot of adults, they need that representation and whatnot, because without representation, you don't have an identity. I feel like, but with that being said, we're gonna close out. And like I said, this has been episode 5, and this is black representation, because it is prevalent, it is necessary. A lot of these shows we grew up on, Parenthood, Cosby Show, Fresh Prince, Martin, just I can keep going down the line. Different world, yeah, like just different stuff, man. It just built us up.
It's been there, and it's definitely definitely built us, like for sure. Gave us a positive base to stand on.
For sure. So with that being said, man, we're just gonna end it here, and we're gonna close out. Any other remarks before we end?
Not really. I'm in
Good?
it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
So,
I'm good.
we're gonna end it with a lineup. We thank you for coming to the corner. And like we said, man, don't be afraid to hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, and we here. So to end it off, man, I'm K1. This is
Mac.
This is
Anthony.
And we bring you the corner.
Yeah.
Right.
Peace.
Have a great night.
Damn.
Yo, but shoot, got lost up.
We was kind of talking. We was kind of addressing when we thought that it what.
He been stupid.
Okay, we was
No,
we.
said pause.
No.
Pause what? Okay.
Oh,
She gotta take her meds.
oh, okay. We'll be back.
Why do niggas do like just pause? I can edit that shit out.
See, I'll be
Hey, bro,
forgetting.
pause.
You feel me? I'll be forgetting that you can edit.
Yeah, I'll be up all night doing it, but I can edit it out.
Hey, look at that. That just made it seem so bad.
Oh shit, you ain't have to whisper. Pause.
Get your goon.
Are y'all leaving?
Peace.
Have a great night. Peace.
Eat, bro. I'm so
let's go
fucking
get some
hungry
grub,
now.
man.
Like,
Let's get some grub.
I think
You good? You good?
you going to sleep? Is that what you're telling me?
You look like.
I think
You
I was
like
closing
going
my
to
eyes like when y'all was talking.
I know I was. I was just like.
But I didn't look
was
at the
just thinking
camera
about
when I was
food.
doing it.
That's what I was like.
Yeah, we about to go run.